A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... He landed in the Divine Dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
Postseason 2 Venom Boogaloo. Welcome to Chicagoland Speedway for only the third time in series history, and only the second time in series history that the top 10 of the points have been re-racked and restacked and are ready to attack. The chase for the Nathan Reynolds Cup is on tonight. For the home race for the Booth Boys, this is the uberly super spectacular chase race from Chicagoland. Welcome to Turn 200's coverage of the Venom Truck Series. It's Tommy Cook. It's Matt Williamson. Partner, welcome home to our dearly departed friend Chicagoland.
Dearly departed in real life, but it stays alive and well here in the sim. It's one of our favorite places to come to, and it always puts on a great race, especially here in the trucks. We've seen a lot of great truck races here over our years of broadcasting and racing alike. So excited for this one, and it should be a great opener to the chase here for the Venom Truck Series.
It was a great run to set the chase field, capped off with a very long race last week at Rockingham, but the table is set. The 10 drivers that will go for the Nathan Reynolds Cup for the next 5 rounds things are very tight by default, and this is a hardy crew to get after it.
Yeah, definitely. There was a little bit of question about who would get in at the end of the race last week, so here's the official look at your drivers in the chase. Of course, regular season champion, Matt Schlosser, will be atop the standings going into race number 1. You'll notice everybody's separated by 2 points to the next person. That's just how they drew it up here for the chase. So there's a little bit of incentive for your finishing position here in the regular season. John Kay finished in second. Chad Stearns, Hayden Palumbo, and Luke Peterson in your top 5. Zach Lockett, Josh Monacek, Brody Gunter, Andy Poliski, and Josh Freed was the last driver to get into the chase. So these are your 10 contenders here for the Nathan Reynolds Cup, and they are going to have to have a good race here at Chicagoland to put themselves in a good position for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, Josh Freed was able to sneak in with the help of Brantley Gainey crashing out of the race last week. Freed himself with a very, very early exit in what was a long race. Tyler Logan was not able to get into the chase field, unfortunately. So these are the 10 that will go at it. Some drivers on the back foot, some drivers on the front foot. Matt, who are we thinking here? The next 5 races, who maybe not the favorite to win it, but who are the drivers that you're looking at?
Yeah, man, you obviously can't count out your regular season champion, Matt Schlosser. I think I don't want to say he's a surprise regular season champion because he always runs good at all kinds of different racetracks, but I mean, I don't think people expected him to have like a super breakout season this season, and he's been putting in the work, and he's done a great job. So I think you have to watch out for him. I think the big name here that we haven't ever seen in the playoffs in a chase with any sort of chance to win a Venom Truck Series championship is Chad Stearns. We always talk about if he ran a full season, what would happen, and he has finally put that. It has come to fruition. He's running a full season here, and we're going to see what he can do. I think he's one of the ones I'm most excited to see how he fares here in the championship.
Well, you leave me a couple of good choices. Brody Gunther just got thrown up into the wall. He's got a little bit of a hole to dig out of, but there's no reason he couldn't do that. Joshua Monacek is fired up. He is excited to try and get himself a trophy. We'll see if that will come to fruition. But the driver that is second in the standings with a big effort last week, 2 wins in a row, and oh, by the way, he's the defending series champion, John Kay. We'll see what he's got here to kick off the chase at Chicagoland. He's going to be starting, I think, way further down the running order than he wants to be. I'm not even finding his name. There he is, a P16. So he's got some work to do. But he's got 134 laps to do it, and that's roughly 200-ish miles, give or take a couple of laps. Thanks to everybody for hanging out with us here tonight, getting ready for the uberly super spectacular chase race. Shout out to Stickers McQueen. Shout out to the Monacheks, as always, Bailey and Robin. And shout out to Brian Mitchell as well, cheering on Insert Coin Racing. With that, we will reset and get ready for tonight's starting grid for the first chase race of the season, and he's one of Matt's ones to watch here this evening. His first pole of the season, the 9th of his Venom Truck Series career. It is Chad Stearns leading the field to green. It is Preach Luke Peterson, one of the early season favorites, starting to his outside. He's still in the top 5 in the seeds in the chase. So is Hayden Palumbo on the inside of row 2. Tyler Logan, one of the first drivers on the outside looking in. He'll start on the outside of row number 2. Josh Freed, Matt Schlosser, those are chasers there on row number 3. Brody Gunter and Jeremy McKinnon on row 4. Steve Roman, Garrett Rainey, your top 10 starters. Kyle Zittel, Zach Lockett back there in P12. Jan Van Leer starts in 13th. Austin Holyfield in 14th. Cole Maxwell and John Kay on row number 8. It's Eric Breeding and Rodney Matney on row 9. Paul Sargent, Brantley Gainey on row number 10, Gary Clark, Joshua Monacek, and Andy Poliski, no qualifying time, all the way at the back of this field in 23rd. Quite a few drivers missing tonight's race. A lot of it good. A lot of folks just don't want to interfere with the championship proceedings. So we will give a shout out quickly to Paul Ellison, what appeared to be an engagement post. Congrats to Paul. And we'll hope to see him back sometime soon here out on track. Regardless, Matt, trucks are beginning to roll here at the home track. What do we got in terms of the strategy and the weather? It is noon.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at the weather real quick if I can find it. Here we go. We are looking at this is a 1.5, little over 1.5 miles is what it's booked at. It's a mile and a half for all intents and purposes here. Pretty cool track temperature, even though there's quite a bit of sun on the racetrack. Racetrack is only at 75 degrees right now, so that should lend itself to the drivers being able to really get after it, but might want to watch it here the first couple laps. Don't want to get too bent out of shape on those cold tires. We got 134 laps around Chicagoland here tonight. No faster pairs as always, 3 sets of tires. Our pit window, we're thinking right around 50 laps. I think we're just looking at a straight up 2-stopper as long as we don't have any illy timed cautions fall our way, but you never know. We could have some here, especially with the kind of D-shaped backstretch. Some drivers might get into each other there if they're fighting too hard.
Chad Stearns, Luke Peterson for the top 5 are in the chase and are going for the cup. We're underway at Chicagoland. Stearns right down there on the white line. Able to surge out ahead. Palumbo challenging Peterson here for second. These are teammates, chase competitors. Another teammate in the mix there. That's Brody Gunter as Josh Freed is loose and up into the wall hard goes Freed, Logan, and Jeremy McKinnon. And we are under the caution quite quickly. You mentioned it. You want to make sure that you have your truck underneath of you here for the first couple laps with a little bit cooler track temperature. And that is case in point right there. And the rough run of luck of late for Josh Freed continues.
Yeah, that is, man, that is a tough way to kick off your playoff and championship hopes here. Man. Let's take a look at the replay. Coming through turns 3 and 4. Peterson there on the outside. Freed running kind of middle top lane here. And yeah, Freed just gets loose all on his own. He's trying to keep it out of the bottom line. He does, but then comes straight back up into the 98. Jeremy McKinnon with quite a bit of damage there as well. And he got into Jan Van Leer. So, I mean, most of the drivers that were involved, not too worried about their championship hopes, but I mean, Josh Freed, I mean, I don't even know if we'll be able to continue at this point. That was about as hard of a shot into the outside wall as you're going to get here at Chicagoland.
Surprisingly, Freed does not have a meatball flag. I mean, he'll obviously have plenty of damage to fix on that truck. Tyler Logan does, however. McKinnon, Maxwell, and Gainey, as well as Josh Freed, the 4 drivers down pit road.
Let's take a look. We'll go full speed in the truck. Just look to listen to the tires, look at the wheel input. Let's see what happens here. And this track does have some bumps in it, and it's almost like he went through over a couple of little bumps there right in the middle of turns 3 and 4, and he got loose immediately following that. So wondering if that might have played a little bit of a factor in that one as well.
When you talk about some of the character that this racetrack has, a lot of the attention goes to the rectangular patches on the entry to turn number 1. You saw him in the back of the shot there as Freed was coming off pit road there just a second ago. But nobody pays attention a lot to turn 3, and certainly treacherous. And it has proven its point there. I do want to pass along some good news, potentially. NASCAR fan survey was set out that said, where do you want to see the NASCAR championship race rotate to? And amongst the tracks on the list was Chicagoland Speedway. Very surprising.
That is crazy, actually.
The rest of the tracks on there were active tracks. Not even like Kentucky was on there. So very interesting. There is hope yet for this speedway as it continues to host virtual races here on Turn 200. We'll get back underway here. Lap number 5 on the board this time. It's still Stearns in control. Palumbo now will give it a shot from the outside of the front row. Peterson, Gunter, Schlosser, and Vroman, your top 6. Back underway. You said John Van Leer took a shot to the door there. He did not come down pit road, and the truck looks okay. He's trying to challenge Vroman behind Zittel here inside the top 10. Palumbo doesn't quite get fired off there from the outside of the front row. If we keep having restarts, that'll be something to keep our eyes on. Peterson right back underneath the 54. And we've made it a lap under green. Kyle Zittel back there in 6th with the purple lap, as there's still plenty of things to get sorted out here.
Yeah, these front 5 or so are really getting after it right now. You see Schlosser thought about a move to the bottom of Luke Peterson, but thinks better of it. That's probably a good idea early on here.
A little bit packed up. You see Peterson really getting free there down low. Allows Palumbo to eke out ahead up top. Here's a run for Palumbo, and he got into the left rear quarter panel of Chad Stearns. I don't know how that didn't turn him into the outside wall, Larson-Hamlin style. But that was a big run. Palumbo took it, and he takes it to the point. Good stuff.
I mean, that is a major characteristic of the 54. If you're one of these drivers that's racing him for a championship, you got to know he is going to be aggressive, and he is going to be aggressive always. You have to be aware of the style of driving that these drivers around you have.
Gunter almost lost it there in 1 and 2, and that truck is still headed up the hill a little bit free. So he loses out on the battle. Schlosser now has Vroman underneath as they are at a dead heat at the stripe. I think Palumbo is the leader, and it's 4/1000.
Whoa. Peterson tried to move down to the bottom. Schlosser was occupying the space, and Peterson going to lose some momentum there as he had to move up the racetrack, up the hill in the middle of the corner.
And we've seen a couple times in the past few weeks, both here on Tuesday nights and also Thursday nights with Max V. If you start to intentionally move yourself up the hill, these trucks will unload quite quickly. You might find yourself in the wall. So Peterson, lucky to get away with that one. You're not going to get that many opportunities, especially as the front tires continue to wear on these trucks throughout this run. Palumbo clear on Stearns. Now here's Peterson going for it.
Wow.
I mean, everybody's just getting tighter and tighter here.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Peterson go way up the racetrack there on exit, and that was not by design, I don't believe. I think that was what he had to do to make the corner.
Oh, Garrett Rainey super loose there. Keeps it out of the wall. Here's Jan Van Leer. Undeterred from the earlier contact. He's up, right up on it.
Yeah, and he's up a lot of spots. He's up 8 spots here. John Kay back in 9th. You see that number 2 start to come into the fray here towards the front of the field. He is up 7 positions from his starting spot.
Holyfield and Matichek side by side further back. Those are the top 12, essentially, all attached to the leader, Hayden Palumbo, right now. This is a little unnerving to start this one. Nobody really seems to have the handle on their truck, and they're all making very bold moves.
Yeah, Jan Van Leer is one of them. He's been on the bottom. He's been on the top. He's tried to take it 3 wide. He is letting her eat, and he is not stopping right now.
about a month of bad races took Jan out of the chase field for what would have been the second season in a row. So don't think he isn't driving with some fire under the hood of the ICR number 5.
Should also mention that nobody in this field has won a Venom Truck Series race at Chicagoland. There's only been 2 of them, and we have been a part of neither of them. They happened in seasons 2 and 4, and none of these drivers were able to take either of those races. So somebody new is going to win at Chicagoland here tonight, and everybody wants to be the one to do it.
Brody Gunter made some contact with the wall entering turn number 1. Tried to combo that into a move underneath the Matt Schlosser. But Stearns going backwards here on the bottom. And we know how good Stearns is on the long run. Does he think that he used his stuff up maybe a bit too early? Is he going into some conservation mode now? Or is that just the pace of this race right now? Everybody giving it their all.
I think it's a little bit of pressure from these playoff drivers. They feel like and I will say, track position is pretty important here. So I think this is just them trying to stay up front, keep the track position, and kind of let the chips fall where they may. I also think that early caution has shortened their pit window a little bit, so maybe they feel like they can push a little bit harder and don't have to save quite as much here. So a lot of factors coming into play here, but these drivers are they are letting it all hang out, that is for sure.
Certainly with as packed up as everybody is right now, if we get a green flag pit cycle complete, they will not stay packed up. So to your point, you need to be towards, if not at the front of this field when you make your pit stop here in probably 35 to 40 laps time. I would imagine maybe a little bit before. Again, if we stay green. By the looks of it, I'm not sure that we will. These drivers are hanging on each other as Schlosser got a shot from Stearns that sent him down into Gunter. Gunter has been in contact with multiple drivers as Vroman getting hooked together there with John Kay. They go down into the infield. They're both pointed straight, but they are going to tumble down the running order.
And it looks like a lot of rubber coming off John Kay's truck. I don't know if those were just marbles, or I've never seen rubber just fly out the back of a truck like that.
It might be dirt.
On the sim. I guess it could be dirt. Like,
either way,
I've never seen a tire just get cut and start spewing rubber out, but I guess it could be possible.
Kay in 18th, Vroman in 19th, and there are only 23 drivers that started this race. Want to point out as well, Andy Poliski never took the starting grid tonight. So that is essentially going to be a DNS unless he can come out and turn some laps late. He will have a position to pick up with Tyler Logan. For the lead, here's Brody Gunter on Hayden Palumbo, and the move is complete. The 0-1 is on point. Oh, and Palumbo and Gunter get hooked together there. Brody has had contact with Hayden, with Schlosser, with Vroman. I mean, he's getting used up here a little bit.
Another thing that almost came into play there is it looked like they almost made contact with the wall on entry into one. We haven't talked about that really at all today. If you're trying to enter high in turn number 1, that wall really juts out. It really takes you by surprise. You have to be careful on your entries into turn 1 here.
So Gunter was leading the race at Rockingham last week in quite dominant fashion, got tangled together with a lapped truck. It took him out of contention for the win. He was on a nice drive back through the field and ended up becoming the final caution of the race. So he's looking to put that behind him and get his chase run off to the right foot as Modicek and Schlosser were door to door.
Yeah, and Jan Van Leer, I mean, they were 3 wide there for a moment, and Jan was able to carry the momentum on the outside, but he barely got himself clear.
There's the curved back straightaway.
Nice run from Garrett Rainey right now. Kind of slides up a little bit, almost makes contact with Kyle Zittel and loses a nose a bit there out of 4 as well, but still able to hang in here. Here's Schlosser, Jan Van Leer, and Matacek 3 wide again. These drivers do not want to give up this position.
Matacek side drafted his way down low, pulls JVL back just a bit. Matacek running the old Force India livery. Love the pink and white BWT colors. One second lead for Brody Gunter, far and away the biggest that we've seen thus far. It's getting a little bit more splintered at the front of this field, as Peterson looking underneath of Hayden Palumbo for second.
Man, things are not slowing down at all. We just saw Garrett Rainey just about get into it with Kyle Zittel. And Jan Van Leer almost was tagged in that one as well. Everybody ended up being clear, but these drivers are starting to get really tight off of turn 4.
Rainey rockets some new hardware this week.
It's working so far.
So far, so good. Yes, indeed.
Look at this move. Chad Stearns way down to the apron.
Well, I'd love to look at it, but it just had an application launch itself for some reason. 3 wide here. Stearns, Palumbo, and Schlosser.
Schlosser going to give the bumper to Peterson, trying to move them forward. And Schlosser seems to be committed to the top here. I think the run has migrated towards the middle to the top. Still some drivers running the bottom, Stearns being one of them, which is really no surprise.
Gunter up in front in the clean air is running the bottom through 1 and 2, but I mean, he is 2 1/4 seconds clear. I mean, he is absolutely set sail.
Oh, and just as we said, it looks like Garrett Rainey got up into the wall a little bit, so this allows Holyfield, Zittel, and now Lockett to potentially take that position away from him.
First time we've mentioned Zach Lockett here today. He's going to send it 3, now 2, now 3 again wide.
Woo, close there with Holyfield. Yeah, Lockett's one of those drivers that when you talk about a format like this, you talk about consistency quite a bit. Whoa, man, that was close.
That was close with Holyfield and with Rainey. That was...
Yeah, he almost got
tight.
turned into the outside wall by Rainey for sure.
He wasn't but 6 inches clear of the front of the 10 truck either. But that will put him, I believe, into the top 10 now.
It's a good thing Garrett can hold it on the wall, because if he moved over at all, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
Stearns continues his march, trying to get underneath the 38 of Peterson here. We're looking at pit stops right around lap 45, probably. That would give us basically three even runs all the way to the end.
Lap times across the stripe. Brody Gunter still the fastest driver on track, able to go sub 32. 31.993 for Gunter versus a 32.021 for Schlosser, who is pulling away from the side-by-side battle behind him. Stearns now getting a bump draft from Peterson's teammate to try and get something in motion here.
Little check-in on John Kay after his incident. He's up a few positions. He just got himself to 13th, but just about got tangled up with Brantley Gainey. These drivers
say,
are making bold moves here tonight.
He just about got whacked. The good news for Brody Gunter from last week to this week, the track is bigger and there's quite a few less trucks to deal with. So, lap traffic may not be as much of an issue. Gunter well in control of this race here on lap 33. Very consistent lap times from Gunter to Schlosser. I mean, they're both within thousandths of a second of their own lap times every single circuit. Get Rainey, touch of the wall, out of turn number 2, sets up Zittel with an opportunity down low. As Peterson, Stearns, Palumbo, and Matichek all continue to slug it out here for second on back.
And these four all running together, not really allowing each other to run the fastest laps that they can, but feeling like they need to fight for these positions. See Matichek kind of in the back of this. He just doesn't really have anywhere to go. Maybe trying to learn a couple things from a couple of these drivers in front of him as well. You always learn, I feel like, in the first third of a race, you always kind of learn something more that you didn't learn in your practice. And whoa, as Palumbo gets super loose, nearly got back down into Matichek. Matichek not phased in the slightest.
John K. update. He almost just got together with Zach Lockett. Had to back way out of it. As Lockett now going for it on Holyfield for 10th.
Kyle Zittel, Garrett Rainey still battling right in front of these two here as well. Look at this move from John K. trying to enter on the top and sling it down to the bottom on exit. Gets a pretty good run here on Holyfield. Or on Lockett, excuse me.
I would imagine John K. is not feeling uberly super spectacular right now. He was quick with an apology with his contact with Steve Roman there. But it could have been worse.
Certainly could have, and I tell you what, I mean, it's been a decent recovery so far. I mean, he's almost made his way into the top 10. I think he'll probably be looking for a caution here at some point tonight to give himself a little bit better track position. But all things considered, it hasn't been a terrible first stint since the incident.
Well, he almost just got one. Luke Peterson got super loose at a turn number 4. Matichek went up to avoid and almost took out Hayden Palumbo. They all got through. I think that was some weight kicked up by the 39 of Josh Freed going a lap down. Got all three of those trucks upset. And Peterson, the big loser there, he will drop 2 spots back to 6th. Matichek looking around for a way through on Hayden Palumbo to maybe get up to 4th. Jeremy McKinnon has gone a lap down to Brody Gunter, so he'll start to head backwards towards the front runners here. Still running in the low 32-second brackets, so that puts us with about a second and a half of tire fall off at this point. Schlosser at no point has turned a faster lap than Brody Gunter since Gunter assumed the lead. It's about 3.5 seconds. Things are a lot more orderly at the front of the field. We're thinking pit stops are going to be starting here in the next 5 to 10. Well, they'll certainly have to start within the next 10, I would imagine, but sooner rather than later. That's the word from Larry Matt.
I mean, especially for somebody like John Kay, I feel like he's going to try and use this as an opportunity to undercut a little bit, get a little bit better track position, get by Garrett Rainey, Kyle Zittel without having to make the pass on the racetrack. Although he's got a good run on Zittel here, might be able to make it happen.
Wow. Talk about John Kay needing a caution. Eric Breeding he was in a full 4-wheel slide and saved it. It was remarkable.
And this is
Breeding will lose a couple spots.
Yeah, I mean, this racetrack's just tough. I mean, you get really tight out of 4, but other places on the racetrack, you're super loose, especially, I mean, you can get pretty loose out of 2. It's a beast, man, and it's one of the reasons why we love this racetrack.
Zittel lost quite a bit of time to Kay there. Now Holyfield going to go for it on KZ53. And he should be clear. See what kind of run Kyle's bringing back to him. He'll hang down on the outside. Chad Stearns, with help from the lap truck of Jeremy McKinnon, is gaining back on Matt Schlosser here for second. Gunter's lap times have stopped falling off as here comes Hayden Palumbo and Luke Peterson to pit road. Running in 4th and 6th, they are in for service.
Yep, Steve
You're
Roman
on lap 44.
Steve Roman in right behind him. Yeah, coming to lap 45. I mean, that is splitting it pretty much evenly into thirds this race. Would not be surprised to see a lot of drivers dive down here.
Do these guys have any original ideas? They just listen to the broadcast and see what Matt Williamson would do. Jeez. Stream sniping, am I right? Here comes Jan Van Leer, John Kay. Ooh, John is really getting after it there.
Yeah, he is. There's Eric Breeding coming in. Quite a bit more conservative, but yeah, John looked like he made up quite a bit of time there on entry.
Boy, Brody Gunter was just pushing a bright red ping to the server. Hopefully that will not be what takes him out of this. It was at 500.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen that, unfortunately, but...
No, it would not. Here's Joshua Matichek.
Absolutely correct. Hopefully that doesn't happen here tonight. Holyfield. Oh, Holyfield! He had to be speeding there.
Absolutely. Black flags. Too fast on entry for Austin Holyfield. Zach Lockett, Rodney Matney, Paul Sargent having a decent day here. He is in as well.
Man, I tell you what, that's a good job by Zach Lockett to not follow Holyfield in there. Oftentimes when you come down pit road right behind somebody else, you just assume that they're going to be on it, so you kind of try and match their speed and not lose any time to them. But Lockett did a good job of just paying attention to his speed and doing his own thing, not falling into the trap with Holyfield there.
Chad Stearns in.
Oh, contact with Paul Sargent.
I think Sargent maybe thought that his truck was still invisible there as Stearns having to go all the way to the end of pit road. Here is Brody Gunter in now from the lead. Gary Clark in as well. Matt Schlosser follows him in from P2. And Paul Sargent will get a pit road exit violation to boot. As the fresh tires pay it off right away, Hayden Palumbo will put up the purple lap of the session with a 30.47. So that leaves Kyle Zittel and Brantley Gainey as the two holdouts. Everybody else has been down. I would imagine they probably can't make it much further without having to come in for fuel, but we will see how much they're willing to stretch it.
Brody Gunter was making his way off of pit road. And there comes Palumbo quite a bit behind.
Palumbo and Peterson both through on Matt Schlosser. Schlosser a little bit clear of Chad Stearns. But you're right, Gunter is well in control of this one despite the best efforts of some of the undercutters.
Yeah,
Kyle Zittel in from the lead.
About a second and a half there from Gunter back to Palumbo. So this will just leave Brantley Gainey out now, and we're assuming probably can't make it but another lap, maybe on fuel.
Well, there you can see the differential in the tire life. Tire freshness, I guess, is the better metric. And Gainey coming down this time.
Wow, we actually just about hit it on the head with the fuel number in that one. That does not happen often these days.
No, it does not. Much better at predicting the strategy than the actual fuel tank expectancy.
Schlosser and Peterson battling it out here. Schlosser makes a little bit of a crossover move there. He's going to be able to slide up in front. And he's able to keep it out of the wall, but that was a lot of speed he carried through the middle of the corner.
So Andy Poliski, to point out, we said did not post a qualifying lap. He never made it out to the starting grid, and he has left the session. So by not starting, theoretically at least, we'll see if the series admins have anything else to say about it, but he will not be getting any points. Hopefully everything is all right there with Andy. But that's a bit of a hole to have to dig yourself out of when he was already in one down in the 9th seed of the chase.
John Kay check in here. He is up to 6th. Has gotten past Jan Van Leer and Monacek.
Just made that pass on Jan, not even a lap ago. Monacek looking for a way through on the 5. Fastest driver on track right now is Matt Schlosser. He's about 3 seconds and some change behind Brody Gunter. And he'll have to get through on Hayden Palumbo as well. Jan going to fight back here on John Kay. Kay sliding it up the track there. You could see as soon as Jan lost that air, man. That is rear end sliding city.
Monacek trying to get it underneath the 5, and he will. Has to run in the dirty air of John Kay there in the 2, but still gets a good run. Both of these drivers running cameras for us here tonight. And Monacek, I thought about sliding up in front of Jan, and Jan, I think, actually backed out of it just a touch to try and cross him over, but Monacek didn't feel like he was clear, so kept it there on the 2nd lane, and that was almost big trouble.
Yeah, Jan had a pretty big run. Luckily, they did not come together. Josh Freed has parked it for the race, so early problems for some of your chasers.
Whoa. Looking at the wheel inputs there for John Kay, he had a couple of big wiggles there through turn number 2.
We talked about Matt Schlosser being the fastest driver on the track. He is just past Hayden Palumbo for 2nd.
Man, Schlosser is putting him down here.
Now, I will say, it's kind of swung back the other direction. Schlosser, last time by, albeit battling with Palumbo, but was a little bit slower than Gunter at the front of the field. Gap is 2.5 seconds from the 04 up to the 01. So we'll see how well Schlosser is going to manage these tires.
Yeah, I mean, they ran nearly identical lap times there that last time. And almost identical again. Schlosser just a couple hundredths quicker, but that's obviously not going to get it done. Here's a look at Peterson and Stearns. Stearns is on his way forward. Came down pit road a few laps later than Luke Peterson did. It's a little bit of fresher rubber there. Here's a look at Peterson running a camera for us here tonight as well.
Reach.
Have had some fun running the special stage Joker series with both Luke and Kyle. We've been in race rooms together for the last couple of weeks.
And you're enjoying some success in that series as well.
Yeah, I was just running for fun, and then Friday before the races started, I went, you know what? I ran pretty good. I wonder what the points are, and lo and behold, I was leading them. So that was a nice surprise.
Well, speaking of nice surprises, given everything I just said, look who's leaving pit road. He's back. It's Andy Poliski.
Yeah, I wonder, maybe, I don't know, it had to be something outside of the sim, I would think, unless there was some sort of like a driver update for a wheel or something. I don't know.
Well, the good news for him is he will now get points for starting the race. The better news for him is that he'll only have to go one lap to pick up 22nd position from Tyler Logan.
And the other good news is he will have enough laps left to be able to pass Josh Freed as well.
All right. So a couple of spots to gain, not the way he wanted to start, but given what I said just 5 or 6 laps ago, it's better than the alternative. Zittel and Lockett throwing down here for P11.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a track that Lockett would really thrive at. He just hasn't quite had it. I mean, he's running okay. He's just doesn't quite have the top 10 speed, but maybe he's trying to save a little bit here on this run more than he did on the first one to see if he can reel in some of these drivers a little bit later here.
It started 12th, running 12th. He's finished second in the last 2 races in a row. Doesn't look like we'll be on for that sort of a day here today, without maybe some yellow flag interference. Here's Chad Stearns underneath Palumbo looking for a spot on the podium. And he will take it. And Palumbo and Peterson, the first 2 drivers on pit road, so they're have sowed their oats a little bit, just trying to hang on to some decent track position. Monachek through on Peterson now as well, so put Joshua Monachek up to 5th. This is put Peterson exactly where he was to start the pit cycle, and the same goes for Hayden Palumbo. They were running 4th and 6th. So it might end up being net losses for them going for the undercut. And now the pendulum is swung the other way for Matt Schlosser pretty consistently. Gunter able to gap him by a 10th or 2 per lap. So Gunter has extended his lead back to 3.5 seconds, well in control of this race. I'm happy to report the ping is back in the green as well, for now. Gunter just made his late model debut, pavement late model, racing at Hickory, which is pretty cool. By all accounts, it seemed to go pretty well. So, cool stuff there for Brody Gunter.
Man,
Rainey and Zittel now going at it here.
Yeah, Zittel has been in the middle of battles basically all day, it seems. He really hasn't had much of an opportunity to run. Just kind of run by himself and get the laps in here. But, man, Rainey really lost it there. Lost the nose through turn number 2, so it gives a little bit of breathing room there to the 53.
And it's worth pointing out as well, Zittel with the second freshest tires out of anybody on the track. Well, I guess except for Andy Poliski. But Zittel and Brantley Gainey were the final 2 drivers to come down pit road. And they are running several tenths faster than most of the other drivers out on track.
John Kay just picked up a spot on a teammate, Luke Peterson. That puts John Kay at the 6th.
Yeah, so Peterson now in the red for this run.
And he's coming up on a little bit of lap traffic. Let's we'll go on board with John here while he tries to track down Gary Clark. Man, you can just hear the tires here. Not liking the wheel inputs to the left.
But that's the way they need to go.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they don't know that.
No, they don't. But they gonna learn.
That right front is just screaming for help.
That right rear is too, to be
Yeah,
fair.
for sure.
A little bit more than most places. Speaking of tracking down,
yeah.
Joshua Matichek is closed up to Hayden Palumbo here pretty nicely.
John Kay just got super loose there. We'll go ahead and go on board with Josh Matichek now as he's running down Palumbo.
There's the Southeast Hydrovac 54.
We're starting to get later into this run, and these trucks are starting to get both loose and tight all at the same time.
Oh, it's a horrendous feeling, isn't it?
It's horrendous, but also, if you know how to play it, it can also be very beautiful at the same time. For a lot of drivers, this is where you can make up a lot of ground.
Matichek hanging it out here in Joliet, Illinois.
Oh, he touched the apron there. I don't think he wanted to go quite that low.
You certainly don't, and he was, boy, just a foot away from getting into the quarter panel there.
He's trying to put it right on the white line, but he touched the apron in turns 3 and 4 and upset the truck a bit.
They are both loose. Just bouncing around turns 1 and 2. Matichek wants to get this done quickly because John Kay is closing. Still got some daylight between them, but you don't want John Kay close to you if you don't have to have him there.
Yeah, unfortunately for Matichek, Palumbo is able to use the momentum on the outside, and it's going to take I think it's going to take a mistake here from the 54 for Joshua to be able to get by him. Hasn't been able to do it. Let's go back to Steve Roman, Jan Van Leer. They're battling for 8th here.
Two drivers who were in the chase last season that did not make it this time around. I'm sure they're both mightily disappointed by that. Steve, I mean, it was written in the stars from Daytona when he had a chance to win it and ended up in the catch fence, basically. That's just been this kind of season that he's had.
Yeah, a season to not remember for the 00, that's for sure.
No, certainly not. But had a strong showing at Rockingham last week, led some laps, finished 7th. He's looking for back-to-back top 10s, something that he has not had all season. Just heard somebody thud into the wall.
Oh, man, Jan just about got up into it there off of 2 as well.
Well, Matichek may have used his stuff up because he went to the top side of the track looking for a run. Palumbo certainly manipulating the air quite nicely in his defense.
Oh, my!
Yikes.
Yeah, Matichek had the nose there. And Palumbo did not want to give up that top side, and he used the He used the sheet metal.
Now John Kay, 0.8 of a second behind these two. Lead is up to 5 seconds for Brody Gunter. He has stormed away with another round of green flag pit stops to go.
And Schlosser's been able to stay about a second and a half in front of Stearns, or excuse me, 3.5 seconds in front of Stearns as well. So Schlosser has had a good run, just hasn't quite had that same speed as the 01 has.
Roman completes the pass on Jan Van Leer. Jan will tuck right in behind the double zeros. They've got some slower traffic ahead of them. Joshua right back to it, down low. Good run here. He might be able to get it done. He is clear if he wants it.
Oh, yeah, barely, but he is, and that was very important. He feels like he's got speed on Palumbo and has John Kay coming up behind quickly.
So Matacek to 4th. Give him a couple laps in clean air to see where he stacks up comparison to Chad Stearns.
That is 18 positions gained, by the way, for the 60.
Good stuff. Yeah, he was excited to be in the chase field because we know how well he ran in the chase last season when he was not in the field.
These two continue to battle. John Kay continues to try and closes the gap. Oh,
there's
man.
A little bit more contact. That one was Joshua coming down the hill into the 54.
And we're going to go on board with John here. He's going to give us a great view of this battle.
Yeah. We done trading paint yet.
And John is running the extreme high line through turns 1 and 2, and he is making up ground on these two big time.
That was a good move there to pinch Palumbo down low, take all the air off that right side, and essentially slingshot him around the 54. I mean, John Kay is eating here. I mean, he has halved this gap, 3/4 this gap. It's down to 2 truck lengths. He is moving with a purpose.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets stalled out at all here, and he was great on the long run at the end of the first run as well. It's just he had to come from further back, loses the wheel a little bit there. But still a massive, massive run on Palumbo. He's been running the top. Now he's going to be forced to run the bottom. We'll see what he can do with it.
Palumbo on the oldest tires on the track right now. It was a heck of a defensive effort from him to even be in this spot. Now John Kay should be able to get through.
If John gets caught up with these two, I would not be surprised to see him try and get down pit road quickly here. He's gotten past Palumbo. Palumbo's going to have a run, but John likes the top side. Palumbo being down there on the bottom will not bother him a bit.
Palumbo and Peterson should be down in the next 3 to 5 laps if they're equaling out the stints. They came down on lap 44.
Yeah, I think lap 89, 90, 91, that is when the green light is really, really open. I think technically it's open right now, but...
Yes. Given what we saw from Brantley Gainey, they can make it to the end with a stop from here on out. Steve Roman has caught Luke Peterson. Kyle Zittle's caught Jan Van Leer, so still plenty of battling here inside the top 10. Gary Clark is down pit road. He was on the front end of that pit cycle as well. Now he's not on the lead lap anymore. So that tells us that we're really closing in here. 6.5 seconds. Gunter's lead over Matt Schlosser. Brody Gunter is just on rails here. 2 to 3 tenths clear of anybody else out on the track right now.
Yeah, I haven't really showed him on the broadcast much at all here tonight. We'll give him a little love before we watch him cross the start-finish line. If all things stay the same, it is his to win here. Hayden Palumbo down pit road early, as well as Steve Roman.
Roman's a little bit of a switch up. Peterson stays out. He pit with Palumbo last time.
Boy, I got to tell you, I'm proud of myself here tonight.
Okay.
I said 89, 90, 91. Well,
yeah, you did.
Lap 89
Telling you,
hit.
we're getting
we
stream sniped.
They're making me feel smart today. I always like that.
And I got the fuel window right. Doesn't look like any takers this time.
Maybe some drivers want a shorter run to the end. I mean, there are quite a few that stayed out past lap 45.
I think it's worth pointing out as well, over the long run right now, Joshua Matichek is quicker than Chad Stearns. He's been able to keep John Kay behind him. So Matichek has something here towards the end of a long run. Just a question of how well all three of these drivers are going to execute on their pit stops.
And who's going to come in first to try and get a little better track position, too?
Certainly. Couldn't be John Kay. He's never one to undercut.
I don't know. Recently, he has not taken that strategy. I mean, early in the season, it was him like almost every time. And last 4 or 5 weeks, I feel like he has not taken that strategy at all. So I am interested to see what happens with the two here.
Peterson, Zittel, Van Leer, all down pit road. Kyle Zittel stayed out the second longest last time by. This time he's the third in. I guess make him the fifth in, but still, that's a stark contrast. Matichek says he's pitting this time.
I'm going to say John Kay is probably going to follow him right in, and he does. Chad
say
Stearns
you're
also in. Stearns had to lock it down pretty good there.
Kay closed right up to Matichek there on pit entry. Aggressive, but clean.
And it looks like better speed down pit road than Matichek as well. He continued to pull to the bumper. Here comes Zach Lockett in the 93.
Oh, Matichek slid his box.
When does Matt Schlosser come down? I mean, he doesn't really have a great shot at getting to Brody.
He needs a mistake from the 01.
Here comes Rodney Matney in the 83. Good stop. Or at least a good entry there, I should say. Here comes Matt Schlosser.
Right as I said that Gunter needed to make a mistake, he did hit the wall at a turn number 4. I don't think it was anything enough to give him wheel damage, but I mean, still a pretty sturdy shot there. Gunter's coming down pit road this time. Schlosser in, Gainey in, or rather Rainey in. Rodney Matney is in as well. Gunter a little squirrely under braking there, but he is not speeding.
Oh,
so all good there.
Apparently Gainey gets into the wall a bit there off of 2, but should be okay.
Well, Maxwell in. That should just leave Gainey, I think.
Oh, Schlosser has to take a bit of a weird exit off of pit road because he had Sargent up above. And Chad Stearns is going to get by Matt Schlosser on strategy here.
Jan Van Leer has been into the wall twice since leaving pit road. Gunter rejoining the track, and he is well clear of Palumbo, who is past Stearns and Schlosser. Austin Holyfield is in and out. No speeding penalty this time. Jeremy McKinnon is in, so that truly should just leave Brantley Gainey, but not for long. Here comes the 22. So pit cycle complete, no speeding penalties this time, which is nice. And Bernie Gunter will resume the lead. And a hefty one at that.
Yeah, I mean, all the top three are spread out by quite a bit. It's 5 seconds from Gunter to Palumbo. Stearns is starting to reel Palumbo in. Schlosser just kind of running similar lap times to Stearns here.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
Oh, I think he's back. Okay.
But that is not good.
No. And as much as I hate to say it, that's really what's going to dictate the rest of this race.
Here's a look on board with...
I mean, lap traffic is sparse in front of Gunter.
Yeah. Look on board here with Stearns as he catches Palumbo here. Stearns should have a good look at getting to second. Oh, he gets really loose here on the bottom, though. He really had to feather it. Able to make it stick, but that did not look easy in the slightest. Matt Schlosser will be up next. Stearns made quick work of Palumbo. Schlosser needs to try and do the same. He gets underneath here in turn one and should be able to pretty much do the exact same thing the 05 just did. So good stuff there from both of them. Schlosser has cut the gap to Stearns in half while they were catching Palumbo now.
And I do need to make one quick correction. Our bottom ticker all night has said that next week's race is Watkins Glen. That is not correct. Next week will be the None of Your Beeswax 200 from Bristol. Very popular marquee night for the Venom Truck Series. I got my weeks mixed around when I was typing that up earlier, so apologies. Bristol next week, Watkins Glen 2 weeks from now. And the rest of the chase will be the new Atlanta Super Speedway and then Homestead Miami Speedway. Here is Schlosser. Stearns got a piece of the wall at turn number 2 to really give this 04 a little extra oomph in his pursuit of second.
And while all this has been happening, Brody Gunter now 8 seconds in front of Chad Stearns and Schlosser.
Big time lead. Big time.
This is a Kyle Larson-esque ass whooping going on right now.
Yes.
And Schlosser able to get it done. Man, this race, I mean, Schlosser has to be happy about his speed and the result, but when you have somebody this far out in front of you, it also, can't feel that great either. He's just in kind of a funny spot right now.
Well, what might help him out a little bit is knowing that he had a buffer in the points back to Brody Gunter. I would imagine after tonight, that buffer will be gone. But at least he had one to begin with. So at worst, they're going to be even keel.
Now Peterson went all the way down into the grass, cutting the apron there on the front stretch. Oh, Kyle Zittel, pretty decent shot into the wall there. Jan van Leer's going to have a run.
And the classic "That's the Wall, brother" text chat from Kyle Zittel as he finds his way into the Brandt Professional Agriculture curved backstretch. Haven't mentioned his name a whole lot tonight, but Rodney Matney has been in the thick of battles all evening long. He just made a pass for Eric Breeding for 13th on Eric Breeding. And a few laps ago, Joshua Matichek was able to get through on Steve Roman as well. And in case you missed it, Matichek slid through his pit box under this final stop. It was really the only mistake we saw of that pit cycle. Unfortunately, it cost him a few spots. He's back to 6th. He was in 4th when the cycle started. Jan taking a dive here on Zittel. They're coming up pretty quickly on Luke Peterson, who again was the first driver on pit road. Lead is now officially into double digits. It's 10 seconds. And to point out as well, in 5 laps time, Andy Poliski will make a pass for 21st.
Certainly not what he wanted, but with the limited field here tonight, it won't be as bad as it could have been some other races this season.
I mean, if those are the two choices you get laid out to you before you go into the Matrix, finish 21st or don't even start the race. I think you're taking 21st. John Kay inching up to Hayden Palumbo for 4th. It's one of those what might have been races if Kay and Vroman didn't get together early after the restart, after our only caution of the night so far, because Kay has been cooking and booking.
Lockett, Gainey, and Matney were all together. Matney gets pretty loose there out of 2. He's going to disappear from this one.
And again, Gainey on the freshest tires on the track, save for Andy Poliski, so he was advancing through Breeding and Matney there. As another big blink for Brody Gunter, but he's already back on the track. Egads.
So Gainey will make quick work of that one. We'll take our eyes to John Kay and Hayden Palumbo now.
Okay, up top, I would imagine he wants to swing down low, but he may not have to.
John has been loving the top side tonight, and he's going to use it one more time to almost get by a teammate, but they almost also came together.
Palumbo moved up a little bit. Kay got a little bit loose, pushed down the track. He makes the pass for 4th, and Andy Poliski is in 21st now. And that is as far as he's going to make it.
If I'm Andy, I am pulling off the racetrack and calling it a night.
100%. Even if we had 15 green-white checkers, he is not making up those laps on the drivers who are still running.
Palumbo's still sticking with John Kay here. I don't think he'll have the rubber to be able to make a move on the 2, but he's not really going away either. Modicek's starting to come into frame here, though. This is a bit of a reverse from what we saw before the last round of pit stops. It was John Kay catching Palumbo and Modicek battling. This time it's Modicek catching Kay and Palumbo battling.
This will be a good recovery for Modicek to overcome a small hurdle. It did cost him 3 spots on the pit stop, but if you're able to get him back, then, you know, it's like you didn't lose any at all. Well, every race you've got those 2 drivers that are joined at the hip. I think the candidates for that tonight are Kyle Zittel and Jan Van Leer. Kyle got through on Jan quite a few laps ago, and now Jan is reeling him back in. And they've been duking it out most of the night.
A couple of battles still kind of hanging on here. Jan Van Leer, Kyle Zittel, John Kay, Hayden Palumbo are still together. Modicek still trying to fight his way into that battle for 4th.
It's really a coin toss whether you get this kind of race at Chicagoland where you're racing the racetrack or you get a very caution-heavy race for survival, race the people around you kind of race. Our 2 races here in the Venom Truck Series. One of them had 1 caution, the other one had 5. Cole Maxwell over the radio is doing the devil on Kyle Zittel's shoulder bit, encouraging him to, I guess, wreck his own teammate. Cole Maxwell's own teammate. Not 100% sure. I don't think Zittel's going to fall for it either way. My question is, if Maxwell's the devil on his shoulder, who's the angel? I guess it would have to be Luke Peterson, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Monachek visibly getting closer to Palumbo and Kay here.
Well, those two went rounds earlier.
Less than 10 laps to go now, though, but Monachek is coming to life here towards the end of the run. I'm surprised Kay has not been able to check out on Palumbo. Kay's been really good on the long run here tonight, but seems to have lost the touch a little bit here.
Oh, Palumbo into the wall. Just tagged it with the right rear, and that pulled the right front in as well.
Zittel and Jan van Leer were side by side there for a moment. Zittel able to stay out in front.
And you are not wrong, Stickers McQueen. Nearly 15-second lead for Brody Gunter right now. Dominant. But it's not over yet. Top 6 drivers all in the chase for the Nathan Reynolds Cup, which will continue next week at Bristol. And I think you're looking at 3 contenders here to take that race victory. Monachek finished on the podium there last year. John Kay wants nothing more at this point than to win the Jar of Honey. And Palumbo with a short track win earlier this season as well. Has just as good a chance as any of them. Palumbo now going on defense. Pulls out from behind John Kay. And Palumbo caught the wall there on entry, and that will move Monachek through. Little crisscrossing through the tri-oval. And Monachek squeezing Palumbo up into the wall. But Monachek back into the top 5.
Yeah, Palumbo's going to have a run here. He's going to try and take it to the bottom. I don't know if Palumbo has the rubber left, but we'll see if he's able to stay even with Monachek here. A little bit of traffic up in front here as well, playing a factor with dirty air.
That is Eric Breeding.
Oh, him and John Kay get really close, but Monachek able to clear on the outside.
That was savvy. Breeding teammates with the other 2 drivers may have very well been willing to box in Joshua Monachek, but Monachek doesn't give him the chance. Scooting down to the bottom.
Now Monachek might have a chance to try and make a move on John Kay, but Kay has been pretty solid here.
Shade is falling over Joliet, Illinois here as we are imminently awaiting a Brody Gunter victory.
Oh, Brantley Gainey up into the wall, and it's a Gainey versus Rainey battle here for 11th.
2 laps to go for Gunter. Never mind what I said about Luke Peterson being the angel earlier.
Yeah, Luke Peterson is trying to bribe somebody to cause a caution here.
That would be Andy Poliski, who at points in their history, he would be more than willing to wreck the 01.
Palumbo and Monachek nearly got together there.
White flag.
Oh,
Brantley
gets
crashed.
turned.
He's across the stripe. We're going to stay green. And it wouldn't matter anyway. It would just make the race official. Man. Brody Gunter into turn number 3 and out of turn number 4. First round of the chase for the Nathan Reynolds Cup goes to Brody Gunter. Whooping. Total whooping. Schlosser now just across the line in second. Chad Stearns will round out the podium.
Peterson and Zittel battling all the way to the line here. And I think it was Peterson, but barely by a nose.
By less than 2/100ths of a second. May be important for Luke Peterson down the line. But this was important for Brody Gunter here tonight. A little bit deeper in the hole than he was hoping to be. Coming in as the 8th seed into the playoffs. But he will kick it off with his 3rd win of the season and the 9th of his career in the Venom Truck Series. Absolute domination. Once he took the lead outside of the pit cycles, he did not lose it again. That can't be all, surely. There we go.
He was going to allow the teammates to get involved, but they want to see some more.
Well, Palumbo calls his there. John Kay calls his. There's... I think that's Peterson. Oh, that... Yikes.
They're
one by
dropping
one
like flies. Not a lot of celebrating here tonight, I guess.
No, I guess not. Oh, there we go. Well, we'll get to your full finishing rundown here. Nicely done for Brody Gunter. 9th win of his career and his 48th Venom Truck Series start. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to Matt Schlosser. We'll hopefully talk to Chad Stearns as well. John Kay will go plus 12 tonight to finish in 4th. Joshua Monacek, the hard charger, goes plus 17. So well done for him to get up to the top 5. Hayden Palumbo will fall down to 6th. Steve Roman back-to-back 7th place finishes tonight. From last week to this week, Luke Peterson will finish in 8th. Kyle Zittel, Jan Van Leer slugged it out there at the end. They'll finish 9th and 10th. And they'll be the last 2 drivers on the lead lap as well. Zach Lockett in 11th, Garrett Rainey in 12th, Rodney Matney 13th, Eric Breeding 14th. Cole Maxwell in 15th, and Brantley Gainey on the last lap spin there will go down to 16th. Then it's Austin Holyfield in 17th, Gary Clark in 18th, Jeremy McKinnon, Paul Sargent, and then Andy Poliski, 21st and final finisher of the night after the delayed start for the 32. And then DNFs on the lap 1 accident for Josh Freed and Tyler Logan. So a lot of work for Josh Freed over the next 4 weeks to try and rally his way back into the championship fight. We'll give it just a beat longer to see if Chad Stearns is going to join us in the booth for an interview. Not always a guarantee. He's probably already in another race, if I had to guess.
Yeah, he's been joining us recently, more often this season for sure. But yeah, he tends to, if he can make a official race, he tends to hop right in one.
So we will wait to see if he'll show up a little bit late, but we'll pull up Matt Schlosser now instead, as Schlosser will bring home the runner-up finish here this evening. A distant one at that, but still a P2 is a P2. Good run for you.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I'll take it.
What do you make of the night overall? You had to do a little bit of work to get yourself up to second. It seems like you had decent pace. And at times we're matching Brody Gunter on the lap charts as well. But, I mean, you were already in a pretty deep hole there by the time you got up to second.
Yeah, I think I maybe would have had a chance if I could have gotten to the lead myself before Brody and maybe put him in my dirty air. But he was so fast. I mean, I think he would have gotten by me at some point if I got in front of him. But, yeah, I was able to hang with him a little bit, but towards the end of the runs, I really was burning up my right rear a little bit, and I was losing a few tenths to him a lap, and you know, he was just in another class. So congrats to him. But Definitely happy with second and good stage points. So it was a solid night. I feel like these kind of runs are going to be perfect for the chase. So I'll definitely take this.
Well, Matt, what do you got for the regular season champ?
Yeah, congrats on a great run tonight. I kind of joked in the middle of the race tonight that you had to feel good about your race because you had a lot of pace, but when somebody is 15 seconds in front of you, it might not feel all that good. How did you feel about it as you were kind of in no man's land there?
Yeah, it's a tiny bit demoralizing when you're like, man, I think I'm doing my absolute possible best and someone is completely smashing me up there. But, honestly, I'm just happy to bring it home second because I don't know if you guys saw, but I scraped the wall pretty good on the back straightaway. I actually did some wheel damage and it was like 2 minutes of optional repairs, but it somehow wasn't costing me any speed, maybe like a couple hundredths of a second, but I was lucky to get away with that. I just lost focus and scraped the giant Brant billboard. I'm going to blame the giant Brant billboard for being bright and distracting. So I'm going to blame Justin Allgaier for almost ruining my race because without him, it probably
Totally fair, I think. As somebody that has to look at a lot of Brant stuff every day, it is pretty distracting. But I mean, yeah, good way to start the chase here. The top seed. I'm sure you lost a little bit of your buffer there to Brody Gunter, but the good news is you had one to start with. So I think worst things worse, you two will be about even headed into Bristol next week. Excited to get some short track racing in. But regardless, let's get some shout outs for you here tonight.
Yeah, shout out to the whole Venom League and all the admins and league council for all the work putting it together. Shout out to Turn 200. Shout out to my satellite team, 939. Chad had a great run. I think Chad and I scored the same amount of points today, so we'll probably be about even still. Shout out to Zach and Josh. Looks like Josh had a rough race, so tough night for him. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you for the time here tonight, as always, and we'll hope to talk to you again next week at Bristol.
All right, cool. Thank you.
No Chad Stearns, so we'll move straight into your interview with the man of the hour and the 15-second man, they're calling him, Brody Gunter, with the big win tonight at Chicagoland. Welcome back to the booth.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me. What an amazing week from me to be able to drive over late model to then probably have my best oval run in Venom so far. I mean, I don't know what I did differently or what I was like doing that was working, but I mean, I feel like I was comfortable with the mostly comfortable with the truck and track. I mean, it got loose on the long run. I think everyone did, but I felt like I probably fared the best. But I really have no idea what I was doing majorly different than anyone else. I mean, it was mostly just balancing the car to the center, like on the nose and the rear, and then using as minimal amount of steering wheel as possible, especially on exit, getting back on the power. But yeah, I'll take the start, the chase for this.
Well, I mean, it's like you and Schlosser were kind of trading lap times back and forth there for the first, 15 to 20 laps of a run. And then all of a sudden, your times just seem to stop falling off. And everybody else has continued to slide. I mean, compared to the drivers you were chatting with through the race, I mean, what was your truck doing that everybody else's was not, I guess?
I mean, I know they had everyone in Alabama and Superkick was complaining about obviously the right rear being really bad. I mean, Luke Price was saying he had a 45, I believe, into that second run.
Oh no!
Yeah, on his right rear. So I mean, I never got, I think, below 60. I want to say. Yeah, I think below like 60 on the right rear, and even got better the second run. So I mean, obviously that probably being entirely in clean air. So I don't know if maybe that was part of it, but I wasn't really having major issues on the end part of the run. Like you talked about dropping off, I didn't really get loose the last like 10 laps of the run. I got tight, which I found kind of interesting. So I don't know if maybe I was driving it so hard entry or like center wise that I was burning the right front up more. So as the run went on, I just got tight and everyone else just got kind of looser. So that could have been something thinking about that I was doing. But yeah, those last 10 laps, I mean, I probably could made this a a 60 something lap stint if the fuel could obviously do it, because I mean I was really feeling comfortable on the long run. I actually felt like those last 10 laps are where the truck handled the best. Man, it wasn't the fastest, but handled the most consistently.
Well, Matt, what do you got for your race winner?
Yeah, congrats on the race win here. I mean, that was a Kyle Larson style win if I've ever seen one, and that's certainly saying something. So, yeah, congrats on a dominating performance here. I would like to hear. I don't know if there's really much more we could say about the Venom Truck Series in this race in particular. I want to hear a little bit about the late model venture you just got yourself into this last weekend.
Yes, sir, I'd love to. I mean, it was an amazing experience overall. So much different than legend car handling wise. I mean, how you can feel that thing sticks to the track going into the corner, how it just settles, and then to the center you can feel the downforce, almost like driving a humongous wedge, and then getting on the power, it's like no wheel spin, if minimal at all. So you kind of just take out the corner. I mean, the hardest really point of driving that car was long runs being the race, but it was a really fun experience. Everything from the super long races of 75 laps to doing the almost qualifying style like NASCAR, having a reverse gear. Something surprising to say, but I thought that was awesome, because in the legend car you don't have that. You get pushed out backward. It was such a fun experience. I hope maybe we can do it again, but I'll just take it for now and just take everything I learned from it. I made a lot of mistakes. I feel like it was a good race to dip my toes in it and get a feel for it. But I felt like I met the expectations I think we had, or at least my team had. Because I just made a couple mistakes, but I learned a lot.
Well, it sounds like it was a really good experience, and yeah, like you said, hopefully you get many more opportunities at that down the road here. Great stuff from you here tonight, though, and way to dig yourself out of the early hole here after the re-rack. We'll look forward to seeing you get back after it in Bristol next week, but in the meantime, let's get the shout-outs for you.
As always, my team, Super Kick Revival Racing, for bringing me on and dealing with me, dealing the Discord, as well as in the track. Gotta thank them for, like I said, like dealing with me. Boy at CGI Graphics for this beautiful solid gold Lamborghini F-150, as well as Mullet Muse Productions, everyone at Venom for a good clean race. I think we only had one caution, if I'm correct, and that was like on lap 1. So very, I think, well done race by all of us. And you guys as well at Turn 200 for broadcasting this, as always.
Open up the can here tonight to get himself the 9th career victory in the Venom Truck Series, 3rd of the season. Brody Gunter, congrats on the win. Go celebrate, go party hard, and we'll hope to talk to you next week at the Last Great Coliseum.
All right, thank you, guys.
Gunter winning the uberly super spectacular chase race from Chicagoland. In terms of some on-track action, there was plenty of it in the top 5 and back half of the top 10. But the race at the front was uberly super spectacular ass-kickery from Brody Gunter, and we expect nothing less out of driver 01. I agree with him. One of his best oval performances to date. Very, very good stuff here at Chicagoland tonight.
Yeah, certainly dominating performance. It was never shot. The only thing that we ever doubted about the 01 was the internet connection, I think. And it gave us a scare a couple of times, but it was able to hang on. So, yeah, good stuff from Brody. I mean, great run from Matt Schlosser as well. Chad Stearns pulled it together to finish 3rd also. And John Kay, after a pretty decent-sized incident, he was able to rebound and finish 4th, so it was a great run for him as well. So shout out to the drivers for giving us some good stuff. I mean, only the one caution, but lots of great battles. We got to see the tire wear really come into its full effect, which is something that you always want to see here at Chicagoland. So thank you to the drivers for keeping it clean and giving us a show. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat here today as well. Stickers McQueen, Robin Matichek, Brian Mitchell, and Bailey Marie Matichek were here cheering on Joshua. He ended up finishing in a top 5 position, so pretty good run for him tonight as well. That's all we got for the Venom Truck Series here tonight. What do we got coming up for the rest of the week here, Tommy?
Tomorrow, the ASRL Sports Car Championship presented by Purple Haze Autosport will roll into Sears Point, also known as Sonoma Raceway. Excited for that one. 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time for a 20-minute dash and a 40-minute feature. Then it is Thursday night trucking from Lime Rock Park. Finally, trucks on Lime Rock Park. The classic layout. We get to take the jump on the backstretch. It is going to be a disaster for a couple laps, and then the cream will rise to the top, and it will be a really fun show Thursday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. We're all the way back around to Monday, the return of the Ghost Squadron from the Super Series. If you missed it, pretty fun feature finish last night at Phillip Island. And we'll get to do it again next week at what is going to be the most difficult race for the car, and I would imagine for a handful of the drivers as well. Road Atlanta. Yikes. That is going to be a fun one, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time next Monday night. Ahead of the None of Your Beeswax 200 from Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum, one of the great Venom Truck Series traditions. We'll have the walkout songs. We'll give away a jar of honey, courtesy of Steve Roman and None of Your Beeswax Apiary. That all kicks off at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time next Tuesday night for round number 2 of the Venom Truck Series Chase. That's all we got for you here tonight. Thank you to everybody that was hanging out with us tonight. Thanks to everybody with the Venom Truck Series. Thanks to the GOAT, as always, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. Until we meet again from the home track, Chicagoland Speedway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long. And congrats to Brody Gunter on his 9th career Venom Truck Series victory, his 3rd of the season. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.